Getting more into the professional side of swimming, you moved to Brazil, man. So tell to the people who are watching us, like, why Brazil? Why Minas Tênis? And how was that possible? Because you're American, right?
Yeah, so I'm 50-50. I am 50% American, 50% Brazilian. And I truly think that I manifested this. Like when I was a kid, we would come visit Brazil all the time. And I would always cry to my mom on the plane saying, I don't want to go back. I feel like I belong here. I want to stay here. And it was like that for pretty much my whole childhood.
Mhm.
And then, like, even I competed for Team USA in 2017 Junior Worlds. The next
Mhm.
day, I had my college started. And so I rushed back from Indianapolis to Louisville. And the first thing I put up in my dorm room was a Brazilian flag above my bed. And it's like, you just,
Mhm.
and I don't have a reason for that. I just competed for USA. Obviously, USA was like my goal, but I was still putting up Brazil flags. And like my fun fact about myself in class was like 50% Brazilian. Like I just took so much pride and joy
Mhm.
in being Brazilian. And like, I love my family here. Oh my gosh, they're the best people ever. So I guess my dad being Brazilian obviously opened up a door for me
Mhm.
to come here. And it's a long story, but I
Mhm.
think people basically I had been swimming for 20 years in the same pool, like I just talked about.
Mhm.
I swam in the
Mhm.
same pool, same people pretty much for 20 years. And I honestly was like to the point of I was so unhappy. I was like debating on quitting last summer because I just wasn't happy and it was showing in my performances. I
Mhm.
I took a summer off after my 5th year, pursued professional swimming in the US, and that year was so hard because there's no money and that was a huge piece
Mhm.
for it. I was feeling like a financial burden on my
Mhm.
family. Like, yeah, I had some brand deals and stuff, but
Mhm.
it was just consuming me and I was trying to like do other stuff. I got a real estate license because in my head I was like, I'm going to pursue real estate and swimming at the same
Mhm.
time. So I got a real estate license during that time. And then we came, Minas had, oh, okay. So my dad and my coach Sergio have been
Mhm.
friends for years. Like they trained here together before my dad went to the US. They were teammates,
Yeah.
stayed in close touch since then. It was always something that they talked about how like one of my siblings was going to come here and Sergio's
Mhm.
son was going to move to the US for a little bit. Like that was always a topic. But there was a door that opened for me basically and I couldn't say no. I it was literally like a Hail Mary situation where I was like, I'm either going to
Mhm.
quit or I'm going to try a new experience. And I think people assume that I came here to make the Olympic team because that's what the
Mhm.
headlines were saying, like, oh, Nick Albiero
Yeah.
moves to Brazil to make Olympics. But people don't
Mhm.
realize that I had to go through so much to even try to
Yes.
switch my nationality. And I got on a
Mhm.
plane here with 2 suitcases, and
Mhm.
I did not know if I was going to be able to represent Brazil. I mainly came here to number one, save my swimming career. Number two,
Yeah.
experience a country that I have always wanted to experience as a kid. Learn the
Yes. Yeah.
language, learn the culture, see my family. It was
Mhm.
so much more than just, oh yeah, I'm making the Olympics. First of all, I had to go a best
Mhm.
time, which under new
Yeah.
training, like
That's
who knows
crazy.
what.
Crazy.
So I think it's like a common misconception is like, oh, of course
Mhm.
he would move there because he can make the Olympics for Brazil. I didn't even
Mhm.
know if that was a possibility. My paperwork
Mhm.
and all of the criteria that I had to meet, I met, but it needed to go through
Mhm.
so many hands. It needed to go through USA Swimming, Brazilian Federation,
Mhm.
FINA, World Aquatics. Like there were
Mhm.
so many opportunities for it to fail. My dad basically said, it's 50-50, but you're
Mhm.
going to get an experience of a lifetime. So that's
For
why I
sure.
said, you know what? Olympics or not, I'm going to move to Brazil and I'm just gonna enjoy this moment and
Mhm.
finally get to pursue a childhood dream of mine and
Mhm.
learn about so much culture and like meet new
Mhm.
people and try to learn some Portuguese. Unfortunately, I'm not
Mhm.
fluent, but
You're getting
it
there.
was just it was an it was
You
just an
improved a lot.
experience of a lifetime, and I couldn't say no. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, when you look at my career, it's like, oh, well, of course he's going to take the opportunity because, yeah, he was
Mhm.
not happy. He was swimming in the same pool for 20 years of his life. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's so hard. So
For sure,
that's
man.
why I chose Mina. Sergio has been super close with my
Mhm.
dad, and he
Mhm.
was really he was pushing that on me a lot to say like, if you're
Mhm.
gonna go to Brazil, like Sergio was the right guy for you. It all happened fast, but
Mhm.
time also flies, and I feel like I've lived here for much longer.
Yeah. And it was such a beautiful story, man. I'm gonna tell you because I know that some people are kind of ignorant and they cannot be as empathetic and see like things from your head, from your side. But since I've always been
Yeah,
watching you, you were always an inspiration for me since you won your fifth year ACC, and I saw you were coming. I was like, oh my god, this is the first American who was like who had the guts, to switch countries and go through all this process. Because one thing is to learn English when you learn Portuguese first, and it's a totally different thing when you learn English first and then you go to Portuguese, which is a language that comes from Latin. So it's so much harder, and you're doing such a good job, and I'm really proud of you because of that. And
thank you.
and when you got here, I remember, of course, you needed some help because it was your first time here, and I remember we went to get a haircut together. I was kind of helping you out with this one, and to see you, growing, and now you go, you get a haircut by yourself. You do everything by yourself if we want to. So it just makes me really proud, and I know that everyone on the team feels the same about you. So congrats again, and it all worked really well. You made the Olympic team. I can't really believe it. I watched the
Yeah,
race with everyone from the team, and we cried. I couldn't stop crying. I was like a baby. And I'm not a guy that cries a lot, but your race was crazy, man. And that
yeah,
leads me to ask you, like, what was going through your head before that two fly? Because when you were behind the blocks, everything was going through my mind, like everything that you've been through and all the tough moments.
yes.
I was like, oh my god, what is he thinking?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you. I needed so much help, and I was struggling so much when I first moved here, and so many people helped me, and they were so quick to
Mhm.
help. And I don't know if that's super common, and I just couldn't be more grateful for like people like you, my teammates, the coaches. They would always help me. And I remember Tiago would have to sit with me for hours waiting for all
Mhm.
these appointments to make like to get certain documents that I needed. And I just struggled a lot, especially moving from home. I'm the first sibling to ever
Mhm.
leave the city of Louisville.
Yeah.
I moved to another country. So yeah, it was really tough on me, and thank you for saying that. But
Mhm.
behind the blocks, I think I was thinking that. I was thinking, like, this isn't just for me. And
Mhm.
of course, it is for me. It's so awesome. But I wanted to sort of say, I guess, thank you to like the people who helped me get here. And my parents were able to be there. And just looking up at, I couldn't even like look at you guys before the race because I wanted to cry already. So
Mhm.
yeah, when I touched the wall, I just like I heard the screams and I saw you guys and like I just couldn't help but cry because of it had been so hard for me and so many
Mhm.
people helped me. And honestly, I think I don't know. I was so my story in Brazil is kind of crazy as far as competitions go because my first meet in Brazil, I was sick. In Recife, I was sick, and then
Oh yes, yes.
then we had a couple meets here at Minas that were okay, and then I swam terribly at Finkyo. I went home for the holidays, and I really didn't know if I was going to come back. Went to Rio. That training camp was like so fun for me. I needed
Mhm.
that, and then I got the flu before Westmont in the US. I ended up swimming okay there, but still, I was out for the whole week before, like 2 weeks before. I was out for a week, 2 weeks before the meet, and then I got sick in Paulista, which was like the final meet that we had before trials. So like,
Mhm.
I had no idea what was going to happen. And
Mhm.
looking back, I think that's exactly what I needed, was just to say, you know, all of those tough moments, all of the struggles have led me here. It can't
Mhm.
be as bad as those meets, like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
already did I already did the worst ones. Cause
Mhm.
oh, and I don't know, I just was like, "You know what? This is a new
Mhm.
meet.
Yeah.
None of that
And you swam the
matters." And
2-3 on the
so
first day as well. So that helped for
yes,
sure, right? Because it was close to a
for
personal
sure.
best, or right?
Yes, that swimming the 2 free was the best thing for me, and I didn't know if I really wanted to do that, but I was like, "We're gonna do it." And yeah, I
Mhm.
almost won a best time in prelims, and I was like, "You know what? We can do this."
Mhm.
But and I remember swimming in the prelims, the 200 fly. I wanted
Mhm.
to put up a solid swim. I didn't,
Mhm.
go full out, but I wanted to still
Yeah.
put up a good one. Never forget how painful that last 25 was, but I was literally just thinking about everything that I've been through, and like that really gave me the
Mhm.
energy to finish.
For sure.
And yeah, it's just a special moment that I'll always
Mhm.
cherish and look back on and probably cry
Mhm.
when I watch it. And